Yeah, I'm not sure if it was the update or if I fucked with one of the settings and it worked, but either way, it sounds crisp.
Cool.
I'm in left ear, you're in right ear. Fuck somebody's eardrum.
All right. Well, let's kind of start with
Do you want to do an
I
intro?
want to know. Yeah, I want to know what got you into the creepy stuff in the first place, or spooky. What's the spooky stuff?
Spooky. It's funny because like I used to not be into it, like at all,
Yeah.
and even now I wouldn't say that I'm into it so much as I got kind of just dragged into the space. I got more interested in a spooky thing, starting with like Mexican folklore and everything like that, because I realized there's so many legends that we pass down that are so deep rooted into like Mesoamerican and native ideas that I wasn't aware of, like lechuzas and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like learning about the origin of those things was really freaking cool. So that's how I started getting into it more on my end. And just spirituality is weird, dude. Like, do we die and like we just disappear? Is there just people chilling here? Like what if somebody that's like a light flicking on and off, we think it's a ghost, but really it's a colonial ghost being like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. I mean, I was introduced to death at a young age, so it's on your mind quite often.
Man, way to bring the vibe down.
I'm just saying in general.
You fucking,
But-
bunch of people died in my life, so now I'm just like, fucking like so into it, dude. Fucking,
No,
you're
but
just a fucking edgelord.
it keeps I was pretty fucking emo in high
You don't
school.
understand the darkness in my life. When I was a young boy.
Fuck, dude. Okay. Jesus.
Yeah, My Chemical Romance, more like My Chemical Independency.
My stuff kind of starts. I was really super into Bigfoot and
Yeah.
like the Loch Ness Monster and stuff when I was a kid.
I thought we were getting a tragic backstory.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Well, it'll come
My
up.
parents and I
It'll
were
come
walking
up.
out of an opera when they both got shot. Isn't this Batman? No, it's totally me.
Bruce.
We're funny. So Bigfoot.
I was super into Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster when I was a kid.
Why Bigfoot?
I don't know. There's something about
Something
it.
about him.
Because I saw the
It's just those big feet,
that I can't remember what the name of the film is, but the one where
the
it's
famous,
like,
the grainy one.
yeah, where it's like walking down the riverbed and he
Yeah.
like strikes a pose with them.
He hits him with that fucking Ben Stiller blue Magnum, the Zoolander. Yeah.
Swear to God, that's where Zoolander got it. But he does. It gives him a pose back at them, and
Yeah.
ever since I saw that when I was little, it always kind of fascinated me. Like, is there something like that out
Sure.
there? Because we don't necessarily have all the proof in the world.
No.
And
no.
it always got my mind working. And then later on in life, I got into serial killers, mainly like the Zodiac.
Is that because you were
killer.
bullied in school?
No, I spent a lot of time in the library.
Is that so you could like, check out the escape routes and everything?
Wallow in my sadness.
Dude, it's a weird kid reading Magic Treehouse books again.
Dude, Magic Treehouse is...
It slaps. Don't get me wrong, but
It's
fucking
pretty crisp.
But there was a
I'm not gonna
special
lie.
breed of kids that read Magic Treehouse, and it wasn't the jocks or the cool kids. I'll tell you that right now.
I thought it was funny. I didn't even realize it until I was a fucking adult.
That you're
But
reading?
all the covers, like the names of the books, they all have something to do with an animal and then the time of day. Or like the subject and then time of day. But
Yeah,
there's
'cause
always...
it was teaching you grammatical fucking structure.
Okay, see, I didn't realize that as
Yeah,
a
because you're
kid.
privileged, okay? I had to learn a new fucking language so that I wouldn't get deported. Fuck you. We're not the same.
Is that what privilege feels like?
Yes.
I know how to read.
You know how to read and write. Yeah, actually. So anyways, you have a thing for big feet.
Is that what they'd be called if it was plural? Or is there only ever one of them?
What is he, my dad?
don't know.
Bigfoots? Big feets?
Big feet.
Big foot eye?
Maybe it's Big's foot.
Big-
Like Sergeant's Major.
Yeah.
Big's foot.
Big's foot. Yes.
That'd be
The scientific term, biggeth dicketh? Giganticus caucus.
Yeah, and then ever since the whole Zodiac killer thing, I've just been way more fascinated in true crime, and especially like missing,
when you look up to your
missing
heroes,
people. Yeah. Heroes.
Was there ever a day in school when you're like just getting a hard time and you're being bullied and shit, and you're sitting there thinking to yourself, man, fucking John Wayne Gacy wouldn't fucking let this go. I bet Dahmer wouldn't have taken this shit.
Funniest and like truest thing you've ever fucking said. Hang on. That made me laugh way too fucking hard.
Just a kid dumping fucking a carton of milk on your head, and you're just like, man, fucking Richard Ramirez wouldn't have fucking stood for this. He would have fucking taken this care of this tonight, man.
Fuck. I don't think I've ever heard a more funny thing come out of your mouth. That got me. Holy shit.
Fuck you, man.
High or not, that got
anyway,
me.
go fuck yourself. I'm funny. It hit me a little late, but it hit me.
You are funny, but fuck. That
was a good
one
one.
got me. Maybe it was because it was directed actually at me. But yes.
Yeah.
Just to finish that question off.
That was good. That was
But
good.
yes. Yeah. Super fascinated with serial killers, and I heard about Missing 411 around like 2017, I think.
You introduced me to that, like the concept of it.
The concept of it. It's scary. It is
like that.
fucking frightening.
That's the.
And I love the woods, and I go out. I used to go out quite often, alone, because then there's the whole feral people.
You were telling me
scenario.
that's the
Yeah.
theory.
And I mean that's it could actually be something, and that is horrifying.
That's the same thing that I told you about, where there's a map of like people who have gone missing in national parks, and then there's that other map that's
The cave systems.
The cave systems. Yeah, fuck that.
And I'm sitting. I think I am a believer that there is probably feral people living in those
There
cave
has to be.
systems.
There has to be.
Yeah.
But-
Do you actually like baseball? You asked me that earlier. Figured I'd throw it back at you.
Like a baseball. I see what you did there. Yeah, I like baseball. I'm into it for the other end. I don't care about the analytics. I know it's impressive, and I know like batting averages and all these things matter. And like when somebody's like, dude, they're like a 3.0, I'm like, is he fucking going to college? What is happening? Is that his GPA?
I figured that part out pretty quickly when I was talking to you about baseball.
You were talking to
And
me
I
about
started talking
stats.
averages and RBIs.
You
and
saw
all
my
that.
eyes just glaze over.
Yeah. So I was like, he's a baseball fan, but he's not like that kind of baseball fan. I was
No.
like, that's cool though. So then I just kind of flip flopped.
You dumbed it down so
Yeah.
much for me, and I appreciate you.
Not a problem.
Thanks, babe. But I do like it. I like being at the games more than I like just watching it on TV. I'll watch it on TV.
Yeah, I love being at the games, especially like Safeco.
I love.
T-Mobile Park now.
Yeah.
But Safeco.
It's always safe. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
Like the garlic fries as a kid, the
God.
best. Then some of their beer there was actually really good as an adult.
They're hot dogs, and they're like,
Last time I was there, I had garlic fries, a chili dog, and like one of the big beers,
yeah.
and it was.
See,
It
I
was
never
good.
got to
It
go to
was
a game as
pretty
an adult.
crisp.
I only ever got to go to Safeco as a kid.
Well,
And
let's go in May, because the Yankees,
we already made that plan once.
I know, but we can go in May and
I'm down.
yeah.
I'll go in May. in
I
June.
like Seattle. I don't like driving in Seattle. I hate big cities.
I love driving in Seattle.
I can't do big cities.
That's what you got me for. You're scared you're gonna get robbed.
No, not at all.
No.
I don't care about that part. It's the size of it all, I guess. It's just daunting. I'm a pretty small town kid.
Just a small town girl
Yeah, exactly.
sitting in a lonely world.
Yeah, I grew up driving around on back roads and drifting and all that stuff.
I grew up doing that in the city. It's,
Yeah, I
like,
didn't-
it's the same
see-
thing, just more property damage.
No,
No, I
I
love
don't
Seattle.
know.
I mean, like, I grew up in Seattle.
Yeah.
Like, I was there from the ages of 4 to 14, 15. So I got used to it. And so Montana to me isn't daunting. It's boring.
No,
it's below
Montana's
average.
not daunting at all.
Yeah, you know.
And like Spokane, I wouldn't even say is daunting.
Spokane's not even a city.
But like my very first time driving in Seattle, I was shitting bricks. Like,
were you anxiety?
Yeah, it was. I don't do good big city driving.
That's fine. I can drive.
But
I love driving.
So your first topic that you were doing, Lil Lorna, can you give me a little? I want a little.
Hold on.
I've never actually heard it.
Hold on.
Don't make me. Don't. I'm white. Man.
Yeah, I know. But I
know.
think the important part of this is there an educational aspect for not just you, but for all those other folks that are like wanting to learn a little bit more Spanish. So I'm not going to do it condescendingly, but it's La Llorona. There's no rolling of R's necessary, and it's even fine if you pronounce the hard O. La Llorona.
La Llorona.
Perfect.
Okay.
Knocked it out of the park.
Okay, because I look at it and I'm like, Lorna.
So two Y's make two L's make a Y sound.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I learn something new every day.
Baby steps, and you did so good. You're such a good boy. We love this. That's for you, special freaks in the audience.
I thought you were pointing at my dog.
Is he over there?
He was.
Oh, that's funny.
He's in his bed
Fucking
now,
Frodo,
but he
dude.
was like right over here by me.
What was your question?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what got me in?
La
Yeah.
Llorona.
So I was gonna do, motherfucker. I just taught you how to say it.
Again.
That quickly? Holy shit. Okay, man, this is gonna be a lifetime of work. So La Llorona, yeah. Just because, again, some of the lore surrounding her is rooted in, like, it's been told for so long that it's just evolved over time. But it's so cool seeing where it started and where it is now, and kind of what has changed but what's kept the same. But yeah, and then you were doing a killer.
I am, yeah. And he's definitely a notorious one. Gary Ridgway, better known as the Green River Killer. Yeah, he was in this like Seattle area for almost 20 years, almost 2 decades. So,
What, like, how do you do that shit for so long and not get caught?
I really don't know it. When I think about it, like it just sounds stressful. Like,
yeah, like at one
Doesn't
point,
it?
like the first 2 times, I bet it's like, oh, this is dope, dude. I can fucking keep doing this. 4 or 5 times, like, fuck, dude. Like, I don't have a retirement plan. Like,
retire.
I don't have a 401k in this industry. Like, the art of killing, like, he's just not getting the benefits he needs. You get sick of that shit after a while, and then like, oh, what if I get caught, dude?
I just feel like that. I don't know. They find all of your bodies, like your fucking stash or whatever you want to call it, his dumping grounds, and like then he's like, shit, like they're onto me.
Right.
Wouldn't that be stressful?
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I get stressed when I walk out of the house and I'm like, did I turn the stove on? I didn't even cook that day, but I'm still worried about the fucking stove.
I get stressed having to just fucking leave the house. I don't like public places.
Okay, so that's why the city's also so fucking daunting to you.
I'm pretty reclusive, but I fucking love zoos so much.
The aggression.
Like, it's not funny how much I love the animals.
Okay.
And
you are a little autistic.
Probably.
Yeah.
And aquariums, even the Science Center in Seattle, dude. Amazing. But that's like the big upper for me. Like, I gotta go to a city, but I get to see penguins.
But I get to see a fucking llama, dude.
Dude, no, penguins are legit my favorite animal. Penguins and koalas are my favorite animals, but
Okay.
you don't see koalas at every zoo.
Which is really disappointing, but I get it. Regional and, temperature and climate.
Yeah, and they only eat what?
Eucalyptus.
Yeah.
That's it. You know they're so dumb that if you put just the leaves of an eucalyptus plant like on a plate, they won't register that it's food. They have to eat it off the stick.
What? Really?
Yeah, they're that dumb.
I did not
Their
know
brains
that.
are completely smooth.
Huh.
Yeah.
Is it? Don't they all have chlamydia too?
Yes.
Why?
Because they fuck. All you do is eat and fuck as a koala, dude. It's honestly kind of the perfect life.
But you're smooth-brained.
Who cares if I'm dumb if I'm getting my nut?
Will you ever wield a Stone Age tool? There's some.
If I'm stupid and
I think-
fucking, I'm winning.
I think I heard something about like chimpanzees in Africa, like wielding Stone Age
Yeah,
tools.
that's so fucking horrifying. The
Right?
fact that they've been recorded using Stone Age type weapons to like hunt for food and shit.
I didn't hear that. That's horrifying.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's
knew
hunt
about-
for food, but like there's one of them with like a sharpened stick hanging over the water to like stab at fish.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I knew about like them using like axes and stuff.
They use rock to like break open seeds and then like other shit to eat it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So like they're evolving.
that's cool.
Yeah.
The whole planet, dude. Favorite movies, one literally of.
We haven't seen. Have you already seen the third one?
No, I haven't seen the.
Oh.
I haven't seen the newest one yet.
It's on Disney Plus, I think.
No, the first one, the newest one with Caesar.
So good.
It was like 2010 or 11 or something like that.
With our boy James Franco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to see that in theaters. I am not fucking kidding you. Like 12 times.
You came.
Like I went all the fucking time. I loved that movie.
Okay, so just to cover our bases
And I
here.
was a teenager. I'm honestly kind of embarrassed about that fact, but
So it's baseball. It's penguins. it's
smart fucking apes.
okay. So you're not the okay.
And the whole cheese grater fear thing, that one's weird too. But
About the cheese grater. Oh my god! You have to understand. I'm gonna start
and
hiding them around your house.
It's not. I'm not gonna see them and scream, but I see them and my body gets like chills,
Yeah.
and I'm like, ugh.
What if you had one like against your skin?
Don't no what that is the fear.
My bad. I'm so sorry.
Like,
Okay.
what if I chunk? Like, it's freaking me out. Just
I'm
thinking about
over
it.
here like my whole life I've been worrying like, damn, what if I get deported to a country that I don't remember? What if what if my grandparents, what am I gonna do? And you're over here worried about accidentally stepping into a fucking Domino's pizzeria and getting your shit caught on a cheese grater. Man, what a fucking life you must have lived. I'm worried about the well-being of my grandparents who don't speak English in this country, and you're over here worried that you're going to turn into a fucking piece of mozzarella at a goddamn deli. Yeah, okay. Yeah, tell me about your fucking worries in life. Yeah, go on more.
My worries involve a fucking. Oh my god! I hope a cheese grater doesn't open my door tonight. Instead of Ghostface creeping into my house,
It's just a cheese grater.
human-sized.
I'm gonna
cheese grater.
find the biggest fucking cheese grater costume and just not tell you. And I'm gonna show up one day at your house just wearing that.
Honestly, it'll just make me uncomfortable. It's not, like I said, it's not like a fear where I'll scream and run
No,
away.
no. I
But
don't want it to be made out of. I want it to be made out of sheet. I'm gonna be in a giant cheese grater and just
actual
sprint at you. I know you're gonna outrun me. I don't run fast, but boy, it's gonna be fun for the first 5 seconds.
What the fuck? That'd be wild if it was like fully metal.
Yeah,
I'd just hop the fence.
yeah. So
I'd be like, yeah, good luck.
Oh.
Are you gonna wear it like a big mask like Jason?
No, like a poncho.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Good luck running in that.
I know it's gonna be a fucking nightmare.
Good luck getting over that fence. Unless you cheese grade through.
I just saw through the chain link with one of the. It's got to be the fine grater side. Thank you very much.
The one that like
The
is-
little tiny ones.
It's like little tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just imagine my hand going against.
Have you ever
it.
cut yourself? Like,
No.
Have you ever used a mandolin?
What's a mandolin?
A mandolin is that thing. It's like a flat little table with a blade in the center of it in a V shape, and you slice things through it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like meats. You can use that for meat, right?
Yeah, for,
Well,
like, for like a salami or something.
A meat slicer. I'm thinking of two different things.
Yeah, there's the meat slicer, which like you put the meat through and it has the big circular thing. You know, this one's not electric. It's just flat board with a V blade in the center of it, and you slide things over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've seen them. I just never knew what they were.
Mandolin.
Yeah.
Like the instrument. No idea why, because one of them you shouldn't flick hard with your hand.
I'm over here like, there's an instrument named the mandolin.
Yeah, you've never heard of a mandolin?
Look,
like the musical instrument?
I love music, but I'm not an instrumental person. I played the fiddle.
A mandolin's
for
like
5 years.
a southern fucking instrument, dude. It's like a tiny banjo.
Like a banjo. Oh.
Oh no, is it like a tiny violin? I think it's like a tiny violin that you play like a guitar. We'll Google it after this.
Yeah, now I'm kind of curious.
Yeah. Very prominent in, like, I believe, blues and country music, like old country music. But anyways, back to Richard Ramirez or whoever.
I only like country music from the 90s.
That's the only time
I don't like the new stuff. Anyway, we're talking about Gary Ridgway. Welcome to the Spooky Guys, where we will explore the dark corners of history and the chilling tales of those that have left their mark on the world. I'm Kellen.
Hola, buenas tardes. I'm Jonathan, also known as your representative of Latinos Against Spooky Shit.
And we are the Spooky Guys. Today, we're going to be diving into the life of one of America's most notorious serial killers, Gary Ridgway, infamously known as the Green River Killer. We'll take a closer look into his troubled childhood, his time in the U.S. Navy, and the horrific crimes that he committed over nearly 2 decades. So, before this, have you ever heard?
No, actually,
Gary
for having
Ridgway?
been from Seattle and lived there for so long,
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It's,
You said 1 to 2 decades?
yeah, nearly 2 decades.
Wild.
Lots.
I haven't even stayed at a single job for that long.
Lots of victims. Like, it's pretty crazy how many victims there were.
How many did he have over that time span?
I think up in the 40s.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So at least 2 a year.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later on, but yeah, he got quite a few people.
Holy shit.
And yeah. And it was all like just on the highway there between Tacoma and Seattle.
Oh, the same highway?
I can't remember what the highway's called off the top of my head. Like the area he operated in.
So he operated on the highway. The same highway? Or like just like that whole stretch of highway?
Yeah, the whole stretch of highway. Hang on. I'll tell you what it was called. Yeah, he did it out of his pickup. And it was like prostitutes along the highway between Seattle and Tacoma. And
When you say he did it with his pickup, like he'd run them over?
no, he'd just pick them up.
Well,
Like-
generally, one does that with a pickup, yes. It's implied in the name. Do you call it a pickup or a truck? Or are those two different things to you?
They're two different things.
What?
Yeah.
That's a hot take. What are the two different fucking things it could be?
Truck is like a semi.
Okay, so the vehicle that you have outside
That's
right
a
now,
pickup.
that's a pickup to you.
Yeah. So that's a pickup truck. And then
Wait,
a truck
you're thinking like a semi.
is a semi. Just a truck is a semi.
Interesting
And
that
then a
it's called a-
pickup or a pickup truck is that.
So what matters is what comes before or after the truck.
Yeah.
Semi-truck or a pickup truck.
Yeah. Or if it's just truck, then it's a semi truck. Anyway, we'll get into it later. I can't find it and remember it off the top of
It's
my head
alright.
right now. So,
So he just this highway between, did we say Seattle and Tacoma?
yeah.
So he would just pick up random sex workers.
Yeah, he'd pick up prostitutes and then he'd take them and he'd strangle them.
Don't say that so casually. Yeah.
Sorry, I read
Yeah, he'd
about
pick
it
a couple
lot.
up at the store and then just, strangle them, It's just a normal Tuesday.
Yeah, he'd pick them up in his truck, and I mean, we'll get into it more later on, but sometimes he'd take his kid with him, so that
What?
yeah, so that the
The
sex
kid
workers
also strangled him?
no, so the
Oh.
sex workers would feel more comfortable, so he'd take his kid with him, And
I
then,
feel like as a sex worker, I would feel more uncomfortable.
yeah, right.
If I saw, I'd be like,
or
so
he'd have like kids' toys around his truck too, and it's
he's
just,
like a family man.
yeah, make him seem safe and comfortable.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how some other serial killers have used, like, I can't remember which one it is, and I'm sure we'll talk about him in another episode, but used to pretend to have a cast on his leg or his arm.
Ted Bundy.
Was it Ted Bundy?
Yeah, it was Ted Bundy.
Honestly, it would have been the fucking yellow beetle that would have been the red flag for me.
Wait, obviously, we'll do an episode on
Yeah.
Ted Bundy at some point,
Yeah,
but
my bad.
he really fucking liked beetles. Like, he stole every car he stole when he'd escape and shit was a yellow fucking beetle. So he definitely had a type
thing for it.
Yeah.
Speaking of a type, Ridgway.
Yeah.
Did he have a type, or was it just sex worker? Cool, that's the one.
Yeah, we'll get into why, but
Okay.
yeah, the sex worker thing is. I went to talk and I started choking.
I went to exist and I almost fucking died.
Dude, the amount, this is horrible, but the amount of times that I forget to breathe are pretty wild. And I'll sit there and I'll be like, I don't think I've breathed in a while.
I don't think I've. That's that.
So I'll be like, and then my wife's like, why the fuck you sighing?
Fucking gotcha. Reminds me so much of my ex.
Like, the fuck you sighing
The
for?
fuck you fucking existing for over there? That's
Yeah.
so funny.
And I'm like, I forgot to breathe. All right, anyway. So Gary Ridgway was born February 18th, 1949 in Salt Lake City, Utah to Mary and Thomas Ridgway.
Okay.
His family
I
later...
thought you said he married Thomas Ridgway. I was like, what? Okay,
His
weird thing to drop in his
mom's name is Mary.
Got it.
Dad Thomas Ridgway.
Okay, no, I get it now.
I know, English, second language.
It's
His family later would relocate to King County, Washington.
okay.
And
Shout out
that's
King County.
when Gary was only 11 years old. Like a lot of serial killers, though, Gary Ridgway's childhood was fucking ass.
Is that a common thing?
Yeah. And, like, with with Ridgway, it was his mom
Oh shit.
that caused a lot of the problems. I just think she was a horrible person.
You think she was just?
I just think
Did she have a traumatic?
I think
childhood?
maybe deep down she didn't even want children. But
it was that bad. The abuse.
yeah, it
God.
was.
I don't know, and I don't want to deviate too far from the line that we're at right now. But just a side off question: do we know if her childhood was just as bad,
I don't know.
or is there not much known about that?
I don't know. I guess I
interesting.
really didn't look into her childhood.
Which is fine. I just
I was
curious
just
about that.
more focused on
No, 100%.
Gary. So Ridgway's
Sorry. The transition back to this was good.
yeah.
So anyway,
Gary's mom, she was known to be emotionally and physically abusive, and he was chronic bedwetter.
Oh.
Bedwetter.
sorry.
Yeah, masturbator. No, chronic bedwetter, which it's one of those.
It's a trauma sign, right?
Yeah, it's one of those signs, and it's a sign in like serial killers. They call it like the McDonald triangle or something
Excuse
like
me?
that. Yeah. Well, it's bedwetting.
You looked me dead in the eye and said McDonald's triangle. Like,
It's bedwetting, setting
what's
fires.
it called McDonald though?
I don't know. I think it was the guy that came up with it. Maybe.
Oh, okay. I hope so.
It was a phrase I had heard when
It's like, is that when you
I
go to
heard
three
someone
different
talk about
McDonald's
it.
in the same day? Like,
Yeah.
the McDonald's triangle, dude.
To the two in town, and then had to see Falls. What are you doing? The McDonald triangle.
One of these days we need to do the McDonald's triangle, dude. We got to get one meal from each one in a day.
I really fucking want that Big Mac, the chicken Big
one?
Mac. Yeah.
I bet it's good. Because
Yeah.
I like their like McSpicies and their spicy McChickens and everything. It's not bad. It's got to be fucking bomb.
I want to try it. And it's their crispy chicken. It's not their patties.
What time
It's
is
their
it?
crispy chicken. 5.
We leave early enough. On my way to the airport, we can grab one. So, traumatic childhood, abusive emotionally, physically.
Yeah. So chronic bedwetter,
Right.
and it was a condition that his mother reacted to with extreme cruelty. She subjected him to freezing cold baths and verbal humiliation.
Oh, so he was Mexican.
Yeah, like early abuse or that early in a childhood. It's not good for anybody. That's fucking horrible. Interviews later revealed that he had harbored a lot of dark thoughts about torturing and killing his mom, and he described as the way he described her, he'd say that she was a big problem. That's just how it was.
Damn.
Yeah. His brothers and father also faced her wrath, and I guess it was like
Oh, so it wasn't just directed
a super
at him.
toxic like family. Yeah.
Got it. It's like my
And
previous marriage.
it was a
Jesus.
dynamic that haunted him, and it made him look at women differently. And that's where it kind of started. Was
He was a Twitter user.
I never got into Twitter.
I never got on the Twitter train either. I just know it's fucking shithole.
I'm barely even on, what is it, X
Instagram.
now or whatever. I'm barely on Instagram.
Yeah.
I have Facebook for the memes, really.
Yeah.
But
I have
that's
Instagram
really
for the
it.
memes. And because I have my community there. Obviously.
Yeah. Anyway, so like growing up, he wasn't the smartest guy on the planet. He struggled really bad academically, and he was held back twice. So he when he graduated, he was 20 years old. And
From high school?
yeah,
Wow.
and he his IQ was only 82.
What's the? Do you know what the average human IQ is, or should be?
I think it's like 110. Don't quote me on that. You'd have to Google it, but
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's
Actually-
like 110.
Hey Siri, what's the average human IQ?
The average human IQ is approximately 100.
Okay.
Okay.
So he was a little.
He was below average.
Yeah, he was a couple, pitches short of a baseball team. He was a couple, sex scandals short of wrestling.
He had some really bad, like, violent tendencies that emerged when he was younger, and
Sounds
people,
like a kid I know.
yeah. People had talked about that he stabbed one of his classmates back in the 60s when he was a kid.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
How did he not get? Well, I guess when was he active? 70s.
80s.
So the 80s. I guess it was a different time for
70s
mental
and
health
80s.
in the 70s,
yeah.
80s.
And then he started, like, at the same time that was happening, he started harming animals, and that's
That's
again one of
McDonald's
the
three.
the triad or
Yeah.
whatever, triangle.
The other one's the McSpicy chicken sandwich and, and a triple cheeseburger.
That's fucking funny. Pull up. I want the McDonald triad.
The menu just flashes bright red and just the Matrix code starts playing on it.
Oh fuck.
It's like, what is happening?
We unlocked
Step
something.
forward to the first window, please.
That'll be free. You cracked the
You
code.
cracked the code, dude. We're the Nicolas Cage of McDonald's.
National Treasure who? Nicolas Cage
Yeah.
should be in that movie. So after high school, Ridgway married his high school sweetheart Claudia Craig, and he enlisted into the Navy.
Which is crazy because he was homeschooled.
Dude, I looked at you for a second like, oh shit, was he? That's funny. God damn it. So he enlisted in the Navy and he served in Vietnam, and the experience he had while he was stationed.
I bet he was fucking excited.
Yeah, he never. I don't think he ever saw combat. There was nothing really about him ever seeing combat, but from what I've seen and read, the experience he had there would change his whole dynamic on relationships and women, because he would end up sleeping with prostitutes while he was down there, and he got
It was kind of the thing to do.
yeah, he contracted gonorrhea, and that was like
Yeah,
one of the
thing to do.
the big thing.
Yeah.
That was one of the big things
Listen,
that
it was Vietnam. You were doing one of two F's: fighting or fucking. All right.
yeah, pretty much. Anyways, he blamed women in general for his affliction, and he had like a lifelong hatred for sex workers. And
Okay.
that's kind of where the hatred for sex workers,
So
like I was
his-
talking about
his-
earlier, began.
His hatred of sex workers didn't come from or not hatred. His attraction to sex workers didn't come from a type of like, oh, I like this, I'm gonna go for sex workers. It came from the opposite. It came from resentment.
Yeah.
So it's not
the
even
hate,
that he thought it through of like, oh, sex workers could be, women running away from certain situations, or trying to flee, or trying to whatever life. Nobody would miss them, or nobody would find them. It was a fuck your career life.
He hated them. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's just, yeah, he hated them. So upon returning from Vietnam, Ridgway had discovered that his wife had been unfaithful, which is like ironic because, bro,
Yeah.
you got gonorrhea from a fucking
From a
prostitute. Anyway, that's what led to their divorce.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
Not the
her-
16 baby birds he kept eating in the morning.
He returned to King County in 1972, where he took a job as a truck painter and eventually remarried, and her name was Marcia Winslow. It's important to note that Ridgway's relationships with women remained very tumultuous throughout his life.
You don't say.
So him and Marcia, or Marcia, I guess would be her name, often engaged in outdoor sexual escapades.
With
like-
him? Or...
Yeah, they would have sex, but hang on.
Oh, it gets better.
Yeah, but wait, there's more.
All right, Billy Mays, get me with it.
So the sexual escapades would be the areas where he dumped the bodies. And there were several times where he had buried a body and they went out there to have a picnic and he'd fuck his wife on top of where the dead
Stop
body was
it.
buried.
Did he talk about when he decided to start doing that, or why he decided to start doing that?
Because the dead bodies is what it turned him on.
Okay, so it started going from an aggressive thing to a sexual
Yeah,
thing.
he ultimately ended up finding out that he was sexually aroused when he was strangling them.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. The prostitutes, was it always just a hate thing, or did it evolve into a sexual thing for him?
It started as a hate thing, and then it evolved because he found out that he was into it.
liked
killing them.
I get it.
So,
they're
and I
kids.
think it derived from that hate too. So
It was a good old hate fuck situation.
yeah, because I mean his mother kind of started that bandwagon,
Sure.
and then the whole gonorrhea thing. So
I forgot the whole gonorrhea thing was, yeah.
yeah. So victims wise, he at least 49 prostitutes.
49?
Yeah.
That we know of to now.
That we know of. He's hinted several times that the number is much higher than 49.
Yeah.
But he was kind of like Jeffrey Dahmer, how he was very open
Yeah.
about it. So,
Was he open about it from the beginning, or was he open about it once he saw that he was getting, like, attention?
like after he got caught, like once
Okay.
they were caught, they were relatively
They're like,
truthful.
fuck it. If they,
yeah.
they know, they know.
We'll talk about it later on,
Yeah.
but Gary Ridgway actually led cops right to bodies, and yeah. Well, I'll want to play a clip later on,
Oh, sure.
and it's literally him. They're reading through names, and
Oh,
they're
the
like, "How
court
do you
hearing?
plead?" And he's
Yeah.
like, "Guilty, guilty, guilty." It's
It's crazy.
pretty chilling, honestly. So all of them were predominantly sex workers or runaways, and all of his vulnerable women.
Sure.
But they were aged between 15 and 40. The youngest was 15, oldest was 40.
Jesus.
Ethnicity didn't play anything in it. There was
Okay.
everybody.
Okay,
Yeah.
so a little DEI. Okay, we love some diversity.
He chose his victims based on their perceived vulnerability and the ease of the isolation. So if they were away from people.
Do you think there was ever, like, one of these runaway women that he picked up and then realized, fuck, like, this isn't the one, but he still had to commit and, like, drive them the next town over? And he's like, fuck, the gas, dude. Like, this is so far out of my way.
I don't know. I'd have to look into that. That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll follow up on that one later. But yeah, so like we were talking about earlier, how he'd lure them in,
Right.
like the kids' toys. He'd bring his son, and like there was times where he killed women in front of his son.
Oh,
Yeah.
he wouldn't just like leave him in the car and I'll be right
No.
back. It was
A lot of the time, he just did it in the truck.
oh, I guess I didn't even think about that where he was doing it. It was just
Yeah, he'd
right there in
drive
the
them.
truck?
Yeah, he'd drive them out, and strangle them in the middle of nowhere.
was it always with his hands with a rope,
Yeah, like rope, shoelace.
belt?
Yeah, but it was the strangling that he liked.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he wasn't a stabber. He wasn't a shooter.
Mm-mm.
It was a strangle. Okay.
But he said one of the biggest things that he really enjoyed was actually gaining their trust. That was one of the things that he had to have, was he'd gain their trust before all of it.
So it wasn't just okay. So he wasn't just picking him up, doing it real quick, dumping him. Like this was a whole ritual for him, a process.
Yeah. And that was like, that's just how he operated.
Sure.
He'd offer them money or rides
Okay.
and like go to build their trust and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Obviously kids' toys, like we had mentioned prior, but once he had them alone, ultimately he would overpower them and just strangle them in just like a haunting way. A lot of the time it was bare hands, and he talks about in like interviews how he didn't really understand how long it took to strangle somebody.
Oh, until he had to do it.
Yeah, until he did it. And then he's talked about how he just found more efficient ways that worked better and kind of honed his craft.
Imagine if he learned that lesson too late and like didn't strangle a girl all the way. Which is a wild statement to fucking even make.
Yeah.
Walks away and then a couple seconds later she just comes back to. And he's like, oh fuck. Now you got this whole fucking Scooby-Doo chase scene in the woods.
Yeah, so the killing started in the 70s.
Okay. Does it talk about his verse about
The early 80s is when he started.
okay.
Early 80s.
What is who was his first victim? Because I feel like everybody's first is special when it comes to serial killers.
Wendy Lee Caulfield was his first murder, and that was in July of 1982.
Okay.
She's a 16-year-old girl who went missing after leaving her foster home. Her body was found a week later in the Green River.
Fuck. Just a week.
Yeah,
They spawn camping.
pretty much. Like, so he held on to her for a week.
What do you mean he held on to her for a week?
Well, because she went missing in July of 82, and then they found her body a week later. So God only knows how long he.
Do we
had
not
her.
know? Did he not talk about it? Like
No,
as far
he
as
just
like
talked about
how and
and like where he dumped them.
I guess I didn't think about that. Does he? So is his MO pick them up, truck, gain their trust, and then just strangle them in the truck? Does he keep the bodies, or does he take a while to hide them?
He dumped them. He always dumped them, but he'd come back
Same place.
because I'm pretty sure he had a little bit of necrophilia going on.
Well, yeah,
So
if he was banging his wife on their graves.
Yeah, he'd take his wife out there and have sex with her on top of the dead bodies, pretty much.
So his first one, foster care, leaves. She's 16, gets picked up. A week later, they find her. How long from the first killing to the next one? Because I know sometimes it's either one of two things. They either go back to back, or there's years in between killings.
A lot of serial killers have it's like a ramp up,
Yeah.
and that's when they just start kind of going crazy. But we can go through the list of victims if you want.
I mean,
So Wendy Lee Caulfield was the first one.
okay.
She went missing July 8th, 1982.
And then they found her a week later.
Yeah, and so she went missing in Tacoma, and then they found her body in the Green River under the Peck Bridge, which is located on Frager Road.
Okay.
So the second one was Deborah Lynn Bonner. She's 23 years old when she went missing, and she went missing July 15th, 1982. Wendy Lee Caulfield was July 8th, and Deborah Lynn Bonner went missing like a week later, July 15th.
Holy shit. So, back to back.
Yeah.
immediately.
And then her body was found August 12th in the Green River near Kent, Washington.
Oh, it took a while.
Mm-hmm. So then the next one was Marcia Faye Chapman, and she was 30.
His wife? No.
No. They have the same name, though.
Oh,
Marcia,
gotcha, okay.
Marcia. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I don't know either.
M-A-R-C-I-A.
When you said it the other day, earlier, I was like, Marcia? Marcia wouldn't make sense, but Marcia, I don't know how you spell.
Yeah, I don't know.
Marcia's one of those weird names. No offense, Marcia.
Yeah, so Marcia Faye Chapman was 31 when she went missing. And she was last seen leaving her house near South 118th Street on the Pacific Highway South. So that's the name of the highway I was telling you about.
Okay.
So when I couldn't think of the name, it's Pacific Highway South. And she went missing. That was August 1st she went missing.
Okay.
So that's like it's only like 2 weeks in between his
His
it's
first
like a
and-
3-week period,
Yeah.
first, second, third. He's already got 3 victims.
That's crazy.
And her body was found August 15th of 82. So
Okay.
about 2 weeks later.
By this point, did cops and investigators know that they were looking at a serial killer?
I think they started looking into it like that because they found, I think there's a time frame in here. Yeah, right. So I'm going to get into it right now, where 3 bodies are actually found on August 15th. And that's
Oh,
when
shit.
it clicked and they're like, we have a serial killer on our hands.
That's crazy. Okay. So fourth one would be...
Cynthia Jean Hines or Hines. I don't really know how to pronounce that one. She was 17 and she was last seen August 11th. So that's 10 days after the last one.
Okay, so it's about a 2-week period at
Yeah.
least in between killings so far.
And then her body was found the same day, August 15th, near Kent. There's one more. That's on the same day. And that was Opal Charmaine Mills, and she was 16. Last spoke with her family on August 12th when she made a collect call home from South 194th Street on Pacific Highway South. Again, Pacific Highway South is where he was operating. And that's where a lot of the prostitutes hung out, was
Sure.
Pacific Highway South. Her body, so August 12th was the last time someone spoke to her.
Mhm.
And then August 15th, her body was found
Along
about
with the other two.
150 feet away
Shit.
from the other two.
So now by now, 6 bodies have turned up. Or 5.
Yeah. For me, Opal, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So by now, 5 bodies turn up in the span
5,
of
yeah, in
3 weeks.
a month and a half-ish, give or take a few days.
Yeah, at that point,
That's 5
I'm sure
bodies.
there were
yeah,
on notice.
all dumped in the same region, like the same little area.
Yeah.
So this next list of women we'll kind of go through, and I don't know if you want to go through all 49 victims or not.
That's a lot. I'm
But
usually interested in the first couple ones. And
we
then the
can
last
do-
ones.
I'm gonna do a few of these ones because these ones are found on Star Lake Road.
Okay.
It's when he had to switch because they found all those other bodies.
Right.
And then I'll go down to the very last one, like his little ramp up period. So that first group was Green River, and now we're on Star Lake Road.
Okay.
Gail Matthews, a 23-year-old, she was last seen April 10th, 1983. So there's quite the gap
Yeah.
right there.
A couple months.
Yeah, so her body was found, it wasn't even found until September 18th, 1983.
Oh, shit.
And that was on the South Star Lake Road.
Okay, so he switched up from using just the river
Mm-hmm.
to now just dumping them on the
Yeah.
road. Okay.
Dolores Laverne Williams was 17, and she was last seen in March of 83. Dolores Laverne Williams, 17, she was last seen in March of 83 at a bus stop outside of a Red Lion Inn on Pacific Highway South.
Damn.
And they found her body March 31st of 84 on Star Lake Road.
Oh, quite a while later.
So
You'd
he
think
went
after finding like 2
he's-
bodies in one all the time.
Yeah, and that's why he ended up switching up. So like
Yeah.
Green River, they found his
5.
bodies,
Yeah.
and then Star Lake Road, 1, 2, 3, 6 bodies. North Airport Ballpark. He switched up all the time, but they were all his victims.
Okay. Also, of course, rest in peace to all the victims.
And there's a few that are still missing too.
These aren't all the ones that they found.
Yeah,
These are just the ones that are.
those ones we just talked about, they have found.
Yeah, right.
These 4 we'll get into have never been found, but he has said that he killed them.
Interesting.
It was Cassie Ann Lee. She was 16, went missing in August of 82. Becky Marrero, December of 82. So he actually he didn't stop. They just didn't find bodies. Kelly K. McGinnis, July 28th of 83. And Patricia Ann Osborne, October 28th of 83. Those four are still missing.
Were those his last four?
No.
Okay.
The last one, Marie Malvar, was 18, and she was last seen at a 7-Eleven store 2003.
What?
Hang on. It doesn't actually say when she went missing. It's just that her body was found in 03. I'll find
When she went missing?
Yeah.
But hold on. Wait
His
a
last
minute.
murder.
Is the 2003 accurate?
Yeah, bodies. He had bodies that were found in 2003.
So he was operating well into the early 2000s?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was that recent.
Well, he was caught in 2001.
I didn't... God, so there was 2 tragedies in 01.
What's the other? Known victim of... I guess it's the last one they found.
Okay.
They don't really have a timeline.
Sure.
But DNA testing helped them find Tammy Lyles. That was the most recent one.
When was that?
And the bones, they found her bones in 2003.
Okay. Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a fresh kill.
Mm-mm.
Damn. How do you get... So he's done this for decades now at this point.
Yeah.
From 82 to... That's... Or 8 decades at least.
Years.
Yeah.
So he managed to evade law enforcement, like, despite the massive investigation that was going on at the Green River, right? And his ability to, like, blend in with society and manipulate everyone around him allowed him to continue his killing spree, like, because nobody thought otherwise of him because he was such a nice guy. He went to work. He did his own thing. He just...
Still married to the same woman at this point in time?
Yep. Marsha was the newest one, right?
Yeah. And then he's got... Did he have any more kids? Or just the one son?
He just had his one.
Okay.
But...
And, like, nobody knew. His kid didn't know?
Just to keep his kid out of my mouth. I'm not going to say his name, but...
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, man, that sucks.
Yeah, to be that...
Yeah, have a dad like that sucks.
But, like, and
we'll talk... BTK's daughter, she, like, wrote a book or something.
he did have a daughter.
Yeah.
Oh.
So...
Yeah, I was going to ask.
I think her book's called, like, My Dad's BTK or something like that.
Good. I'm glad they named the title that. I thought this was a cookbook.
The Jeffrey Dahmer cookbook.
Yeah, dude. Or My Dad is the BTK Killer. Well, way to spoil the ending. Am I right?
Yeah. Way to spoil the ending. God damn it. So it wasn't until 2001 that DNA evidence linked him to the murders. He was arrested and he ultimately confessed to 71 murders.
71 total.
71 murders. It makes him the most, like, I think he's the most notorious serial killer in American history.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you hit me with 49, I was fucking floored.
Yeah, I mean, his killing spree lasted almost 2 decades, and yeah, we were reading some. You
So
saw
that's
the
like
rate.
3 a year.
You saw the rate at which he was going. He did 5 in a month and a half.
That's wild.
So yeah, he's one of the most prolific in American history. It's crazy.
Did you have posters of him in your room as a kid? Or?
Oh my god.
I'm not letting that bit go. It's a good one.
Yes.
Dude, oh my god, you have his fucking rookie card? Holy
I have his
shit.
footprint tattooed on my ass. You have his rookie card.
Took you a bit, but we got there. Dude, is that fucking signed hollow? It's fucking wild.
That's funny. So in a shocking turn of events, Ridgway struck a plea deal in exchange for getting the death penalty, and he'd give them information.
I'm sorry, hold on. Instead of getting the death penalty?
Instead of getting the death penalty, he would get life without the possibility of parole.
Okay, all right.
So, but he in exchange, he'd give them information and location of the victims and their remains.
Okay.
So, it allowed him to get out of the death penalty.
Yeah. Jail for life.
But it raised questions about like justice and accountability, and for like those, because that's crazy. That's some pretty fucking horrific actions, and he's not getting the death.
70, what was it? 71 deaths. 71 kills.
Up to 71 murders.
Up to 71 murders over the course of 2 decades.
49
and you're
have
getting
been found.
3 square meals, a healthy exercise and diet routine, and a tax-free life. You don't got to go to work.
Dude, I bet when he confessed to a priest, they forgave him for his sins too. Because that's all it takes.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Catholicism at all.
48 brutal murders committed by one man in a killing spree that terrorized the Northwest. Good evening. First on 2 tonight, Special Team 2 coverage as Gary Ridgway admits he is the deadliest serial killer in U.S. history and agrees to spend the rest of his life in prison.
20 years and dozens of victims later, Gary Ridgway admits in a King County courtroom he is the Green River Killer. And that's what investigators, prosecutors, and those with loved ones murdered by Ridgway have been waiting a long time to hear. Those he murdered, Gary Ridgway took a deadly place in U.S. history.
And Mr. Ridgway, is it your desire to plead guilty to the 48 charges of aggravated murder in the first degree because you believe that you are guilty of each of those offenses?
Yes. And that's the same answer Gary Ridgway gave 48 times. Yes, for each of the women he killed in one of the deadliest murder sprees in U.S. history. In court, he would say little more than that, letting a prosecutor read his disturbing account of so many murders.
Most of the time, I killed them the first time I met them. And I do not have a good memory for their faces.
So,
damn.
Yeah, pretty wild life that he had. Thank you for joining us today on the Spooky Guys. If you want to know more about the victims and their stories, I encourage you to look into the resources that honor their memories. Don't forget to subscribe for more chilling tales and discussions. Until next time, stay safe, keep your eyes open, and stay spooky.
Adios. Muchas gracias. Thank you, everybody, for listening to our episode here. Very excited for more. And I sound like an NPR announcer, I just realized. But, yeah, thank you so much for listening to our episode. If you want to find out more about us, future episodes, events, fun things like that, check out our Instagram, The Spooky Guys. You guys can also follow us on all the social medias. And please send us your spooky story or your brush with a maybe serial killer. I don't know. At the Spooky Guys Podcast or at gmail.com. Spooky Guys Podcast at gmail.com. 1-888-2300 and now.
And if you have subjects you want us to cover, you have subjects you want us to look into, maybe it's something you think nobody really knows about or something you want to learn about, feel free to message us and we'll respond in a timely manner and we'll make a list of requests.
And by we, it's me. I'll respond. I'm the one with the email access.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have Instagram access on that one.
Yeah, you do. Don't you?
No.
Oh. Yeah.
I'll get into it because I'm gonna post that picture of us.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good picture.
So, yeah, I think.
Yeah, the password is password.
Get this edited and out as soon as possible. Honestly.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of people asking about it. So.
Not bad. But no, thank you, everybody. Dios los bendiga. Best of luck. Take care of yourselves. And stay spooky, my friends.
Yep. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Fuck yourself.